you all for coming here today. I think most of you know me, but my name's Sonia Bassi. I'm the chair of Mandela 8. And I just want to thank you and welcome you all for giving us your time today on this massively momentous occasion for our community.
I'd like to tell you all a little story. My grandfather's first wife was my grandmother and my hero, Evelyn. And some of you don't know this story, but when they were married, my grandmother was the primary breadwinner within their family. She is the one that was responsible for sending my grandfather to law school. So the Nelson Mandela that you all know today is because of a woman named Evelyn, my grandmother. Men are born of women. It is women that give birth to kings, to presidents, and to successful businessmen. So the power of women can never be underestimated. With that being said, I will start my speech. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an absolute pleasure to be here with you all today. My mother and I have been so touched by the warm welcome that we have received here in Liverpool. Liverpool now has a special place in our hearts, but places are not made great purely by their existence. The people who inhabit it breathe their energy into it and make it great. So I encourage you to continue to breathe the amazing energy that you have into this beautiful place and make it even greater. My mother and I have listened to all of your stories of sacrifice and bravery, and I want to tell you that your sacrifices were not in vain. The South Africa that we now live in is a direct result of your courageous acts. My grandfather always said that the struggle for liberation in South Africa was a great effort of many people around the world. He acknowledged that apartheid could not have been defeated without the support of people like yourselves. So we want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. You have served as torchbearers of the light, paving the way for the next generation of torchbearers like myself. But our struggle is not over. It continues, because we now face even greater challenges which seek to take us back to the days of darkness. We cannot allow our light to fade. My grandfather acknowledged after he was inaugurated that once he had reached the mountaintop, the struggle continued. So the struggle continues, and we cannot be tired. Thank you.
gentlemen, I'm going to say comrades in arms. I think my daughter has said it all, but I think it's very moving to come here, to interact with the community. We started this yesterday, and thank you, Sonia. It has been really, really enlightening. And all I can say, I don't know who said it, it's important to document our stories. The stories that you told, the struggles, and how you created innovation, the legal, because we are not good, I would say, as black people in documenting our stories. And, at some point in South Africa, there was a, what do you call the social media thing? WhatsApp that was going around. They said, because we black people don't read, we are not American, we don't have knowledge. It said, it's fine, we've given them the political freedom, but they will not succeed because we've hidden everything in books. And so because they don't read, they will not gain the knowledge of how to run the country. And so we've got to turn the paradigm around. We've got to be so knowledgeable and so enlightened that when we confront the powers that be, they can sit up and not ignore us. For all of us, whether we are in England, in the US, in South Africa, in the Caribbean, the collaboration that took place in the past must not stop because we think we have reached the mountaintop. We have to continue, but the language we use and the paradigm we use has got to change because those who have in power are always changing their methods and the systems. So if we don't catch up and learn to understand the systems, the infrastructure, the language, we are going to be left behind. We are always going to be dancing in the same circle. We've got to mature. We've got to be actually so, I don't want to use the word strategic, but we have to be so sophisticated that we are talking and we're ahead of them. We can catch up and be 3 steps ahead of them or 4 steps ahead of them. And I'm saying this because I'm not saying South Africa is far from achieving the dream. Very far. We have huge challenges in South Africa. And the main reason that we have challenges, we don't talk about this openly, is that the multinationals have the competences, have the experience, they have the wealth, they control the wealth. You have a government that has come in from the bush into government, but inexperience, no competency. So we're always running around chasing our tails. And unless that improves, and I think, as I said from yesterday, and this is my really hobby horse, if we do not change the paradigm of talking about poverty alleviation and talk about creating wealth, we will never ever catch up because we will be going with handbag begging, okay? You'll find that our presidents in all of Africa, in the third world, go to the West to beg. That is not going to work when Africa has all the resources of the world and we are not doing anything to beneficiate. We started House of Mandela because we want to change the paradigm about Africa. It's not a dark continent. We are not dark people. We're coffee with milk inside. We are not really that. But we believe that Africa can change. We believe Africa is warm. It's got the warmth of the sunshine. Whatever, Africa is different and we've got to be proud of who we are. But we know that as Africans, we cannot succeed alone unless we reach out and learn from other people, things that we. But I'm not so much religious, but there's somebody that I've come to admire. Churches in America are wealthy; they have influence. And somebody that I've come to admire very much is T.D. Jakes. Because T.D. Jakes is not just a pastor, he is actually a businessman and a politician. Because he will say every day, I do not want an unenlightened church. I have to teach you about it. And he teaches about man. You see, we Africans, I'm going to talk about myself, we grew up in families where You don't talk about money openly. It's a taboo. And then because of religion, it says that for the love of money is the root of all evil, and we think money is wrong. No, there's nothing wrong with money. We've got to learn how to utilize money. When Jewish children are born, you know what they do? The first thing is to put a penny in their socks in the evening. And they talk openly about money. And we've got to start those conversations at an early age to talk to our children about the preservation of wealth, how we create this wealth and preserve it. Because to me, that is the answer. And that's what I want to say. But I want to say to every woman who's here, kudos, and have the courage, go forward, be determined. And I think, Sonia, whatever you've done here to bring these groups and the forces together is something that we have to emulate all around the world. And thank you for doing that. And thank you, everybody.